הנה זה בית.
וואי. כתבתי לו את ה... אבל נמצא כבר.
צדיקים. זהו ענק. וזה אמור לכם. זה נפש, זה נוסף. לא שומעים אותי. שמע לכם יעשו. אנחנו צדיקים, שומעים אותי? There we go.
שלום רבי.
Today we'll be speaking about יצרו. It's one of the things that people do messed up. I just got a letter from somebody. He feels very good with whatever I'm saying, and he reads it, it gives him calmness, but right after the Gehenna comes back. So actually, Hashem Yasfani. So where's the Hashem Yasfani exactly? He feels a marble. Where's the derech, etc. So actually, it's now when there starts the parshas from Mitzrayim, the periods this week, which is what we will speak about all weeks actually. As long as the person doesn't know what the G'ul is, never know what the G'ul is. How to get to the G'ula, yes, how to get to the G'ula, you have to know what the G'ul is. What the G'ul is actually. The G'ul is the periods this week, as a whole shmuz, that the G'ulu below midas. The person doesn't have enough minute. That's why his gold expensive. Why? And describe everyone that comes to the bush. The first question is always, one minute, I don't have a minute, I have a minute. There is a minute and there is a minute, which we start explaining. We say by davening, by tachnen, we say, Shem Elokai Elokai, we say, tzadikim anachnu, v'lo yichatunu. So we're tzadikim, and we didn't say. Right away after we say, Avol, anachnu v'v'sayim l'chitanu. So was there a chat or wasn't there a chat? Was there a chat or wasn't there a chat? The whole mahalach is, a person is not, it's chutzi malach and chutzi bahaima. Well, it says in three things, it's just like a malach. And it's all three things, it's just like a bahaima. That means tzadikim anachnu v'lechitunu, v'chelik l'chaim yamal mamish. Not only like a malach, we can come to a greater place of malach, we were maluchim. But once we work ourselves out, that we are in this Gehenna, as he calls it, the gulis, and we see the Rebbeinu Shem in this gulis, which a malach never sees as gulas. Because the gulas is actually started not from the maluchim. The gula starts all the way back. Because he created the world, was right away gulas. That means we're far away from the Manishleim. And we cannot have that connection, that same connection that we had before the creation, we were in Ein Sof, as after the creation. As we were speaking last week, it starts off with letters and words until we come down. The Olam from the Maluchim is a virtual world. There is no letters, actually letters. Till we come down to this world, there's a gracious word, the Kim starts on the base of actual letters, which gets us even farther and farther, further and further. The difference between a malach and a behemoth is a malach here doesn't have so much mesachim, you call screens. In their screens, it's a rochnistic screen between him and the Mensch. We have a gasmistic screen. So we cannot see through the screen. So the behemoth cannot see the Mensch. Maximum, he can go Yudah Shor Kahim. He can know who's the one. It's the body who's taking care of him, but he cannot know who's the boss of the boss. Chamor Eves B'Ulav. Chamor, in that, doesn't know who's the boss. He knows that the Eves, the part that he's eating from, that gives him the chiyus. But a Yid has a koich of a malach. He can see the Eves. As we said last week, the pain that you're going through, that is actually the Kodesh Baruch is helping you to see there's something beyond the screen, beyond the gashmis that's giving you chiyus. It's something which is called rachnis. That means we have the whole difference between the behemoth, the doimen, tzomeach, chai, and the daber. Rashi says the doimen, the tzomeach, the chai have no bechira. The daber suddenly has bechira. How does the bechira come around? The doimen has no bechira because he can't see more than he sees. The tzomeach cannot see more than he sees. The behemoth cannot see more than he sees. But the Udam has the koach of a malach that he can see more than beyond his seeing. That means you can see a rochnis that can look. As we said, the Torah says, Nubi says, Acharaysh and Shemui, even Habita. If I'm Acharaysh, if I'm deaf, how can I listen? If I'm even, I'm blind, how can I see? Acharaysh, you think you're blind, but Shemui, you can hear. The person has a shmir, which is called chibur. By Shama Shur also means I can connect myself. When a person does a mitzvah, the two ways how I can do the mitzvah. You can do a mitzvah sanushan milim, and you can check off a V that he did it. That is also a goodness. As the Busha said, we spoke that come up there, you'll find empty pages. But the avodah is that we should come to a value. Actually, we should see in the letters that the Baal Shem Tov says, behind the words, there's a rochnis, a whole world which just connects you all the way up to the Mensch. That means the same they are that he gave to the Madame, and the dibur that messes up a person from one side. They are, he has to understand. And dibur, he has to explain himself. But they are is also not understanding. There's another meaning besides that also has a meaning of vayeda udam chavus, chibur, connection. I mean, as long as your understanding is connected to the Mensch, then you can talk, and not you talking, but the Mensch talking. Once you're only in understanding, and you're not connected to the Mensch, then you're just talking from yourself, you're just talking about your ego, you're talking about your bigness. Same thing when a person suffers, and he has to translate, uses there. Who's it doing it to me? Why is it happening to me? Why is it so hard for me? So he's right, but that is the chelik from the behemoth. Because both gave us the chelik from the das, not to use that as a behemoth, we should use it as a malach. A malach can be connected, but a malach cannot talk. We can talk. We have to talk. What is talk? Talking means not only talk. Talk means hanhuga. We can persuade, we can have a shpur on the whole world. That's the koach of a yid. Al keni kaveh lechu Hashem alekeni. We'll do that. So actually the same matzav that a person is, you can call it a gulis, you can call it a geila. You find this week in the parsha, it says Vayukum melech chodosh asher leYuda es Yosef. That's what Samuel brings down. טישים says Gewalt. How could it be chodosh? We're talking on the Mitzrayim. We know ein chodosh ta'atzah shnesh. Shlomo HaMelech says ischatshus, renewing myself. There's no such thing. Everything that was, will be, and was, and it is. There's no ischatshus. Only ischatshus is me'al Hashemesh, me'al HaTeva. The person's connected. He's there to the Menschlim, and he's connected to the Menschlim. So then every time he's actually peeling off from his Bahamis and connecting to his Malach. That means tzadikim anachni from one side lo chetuni. Anachni v'aviseini chetuni. Chetuni doesn't mean dafke chet. Chetuni means ani shlem chetun. There's something missing. What's missing? Aviseini. Aviseini is also called the retzonis. That means the willing. Battle retzoincha mitnei retzoincha. Our retzoin is like a behemoth, or das is like a behemoth. We don't try to understand further. And our way from ours is we have to turn over the das to connect to the Menschlim, and we also have to use our retzonis, umartim, and ask the retzoin, take the retzoin as your will. As we say in English, if there's a will, there's a way. What is the way? There is no way. It's a derech of minute. That means how far is a person, how far is how far is a person from his Peshurim? That's when the person has to daven. And he's standing his face to Ma'ariv. He just turns around to Mizrach and he's with his face to Yerushalayim. He doesn't know how to turn around, so he's just mechavim. As the Lashon Takush says, where the mind of a person is, that's where he is. That means to understand the Rebbeinu will never understand in the giving or receiving. That connection, that derech. So a person goes on a bus, goes on a plane, he wants to go to New York, he takes the plane to Tokyo, he's going the other direction. And once you go in the direction, even though you're not in New York, you're probably on the way to New York. But if you're not on the way to New York, then you're not in New York either. Same thing is, our avoid is the schatches. We can only have schatches, but at Menschlim, when it's Ba'al HaTeva, it's every time a schatches. What's the schatches? Not the Menschlim is chadash. There's schatches that you recognize the Menschlim in a way that you didn't recognize him before. And that actually brings simcha to myself. I'm being taken care of. I'm not on my own. I have just a gomal ala imay. That means our work is just the opposite around, not to build ourselves up. We're tzadikim anachni. We're born when HaKadosh created the world. It was born oilam es machrivan. Then came along the maluch, and then became a gashmi. Then came all the mission. It was chet the mission, chet aman, all the way through till Mitzrayim. Then we started one Besamigdash. The second Besamigdash, now we're up to the third Besamigdash. Third Besamigdash, we start building up the koimah from Udamation. The Ari says, the koimah from Udamation, his days 500 years ago, is all built up. Now we're building up the Akrai, the knee of Udamation. That's 500 years ago. We have to understand where we are. But it told us that means we are actually in a place, how low we may be, everything is in the right place, in the right spot where we have to be, and there we can be tzadikim anachni. Tzadikim anachni v'lo chetuni. There's nothing missing from us, we have everything. But what? We have to change our listening, we have to change our direction, we have to change our momentum, our perspective. Where do you want to get to? as long as you're busy with understand, trying to get better, and then you're getting worse. But when it's then, there's no getting worse. It's actually you're just putting on another lining. You're putting on another mechitza, another wall. But the 1 second you turn around, your face from Mizrach to Ma'av, you're right there. But what happens, says the Xi'urim, Vayokom melech chodesh. How could it be such a thing that Mitzrayim, all this chachis is, as you see today, you have GPT, you have all kinds of wars and all kinds of ways and things, and every day there's news. This morning itself news, and the news doesn't stop. Every second, nowadays was the ticker, they called it. It was all printing out news all the time. When it's Mitzrayim, the news starts running and doesn't stop. So says the Hadishim, that's Asher Le'yoda es Yosef. What does Yosef mean? Yosef is a p'china from tzaddik. Yosef is when HaKadosh created the world and things come down from Chochmah to Bina to Das. It's a chesed, gvir, tveres, nitzah, yisod ze Yosef, and Shavim. What does Shavim mean? Shivi, bunim, shoivuvim. Shoivuvim means we are wild rats, we call it that way. Not we're wild rats, we're we're actually tzaddikim, but HaKadosh gives us the wildness because He wants us, we should reveal we cannot keep ourselves without the Rebbeinu. So actually we have to reveal that the Rebbeinu actually in the raglayim that we're running around and just, as we used to say in English, running around like a cockroach. And instead of running around, we have to be in the meal. There's a very nice Chavisa, to learn it, it's 146, which that I think that starts off the whole derech, which is called Lechu, the meal to Hilu. You must have heard it a lot of times from me. Busha said, whenever a person goes into emotional turbulence, whenever he goes into stress, whenever he goes into doesn't know what to do, next, that is the time to go into the meal. The meal means like a diamond, go back all the way back to the Isis. Then the whole turbulence is because I put on another layers of the Ani, which I want to understand even more and connect it less. And once I go into the meal, I turn around from the Ani and I turn around to the Lechu. That is called the meal. Then I keep quiet. My thoughts, my emotions, am I doing? Am I talking? But I can keep on doing things, positive things. I can keep on talking positive things, even though my emotions are still burning. But as we spoke about last week, it's always a shaila to do things, to feel things, and then do things. But first, and then Yusha says, you have to start doing all kinds of positive things, but the meal has to be in the mud. It's called a machshavos. Yes, it starts off with the thoughts. That means Yosef was around, but there was no gulis. When Yosef passed away, and then automatically they start being connected to the tzaddik, as we call it. Tzaddik means the derech that the tzaddik is. Which Yaakov Avini loymois, we find that Yaakov Avini was the one that took upon himself tzrulis, even though he didn't have to. He was able to go up there already by once he Yaakov Avini, but he decided no. Since Claudius were going down to Mitzrayim, I want to take them all the way down there, and through his suffering, all the way through down to Mitzrayim, Yosef, and going down 20 more years, the Bernstein wasn't there, but he didn't get lost. Yaakov started living in Mitzrayim because he was able to say, even there's no Shekhinah, even though I see no light, but there's a simon, that's the biggest light. I came into the Mele Rebbe for our first time in my Shemot. He told me the book Rebbe says, Chazal say, Gudel Mechaver, it's Gudel Memeno. So he says it's not only in Gudel Mechaver, it's a Gudel, it's also Yitzre. If a person sees that his Yetzer is big, you should know you actually have his numbers. But also, the mention he wants you to do a special work that someone else cannot do that work. So we have in the military, not everybody can be a pilot. Well, everyone has his work, so which work they're giving you in the army, you can't pick it, but once they give it to you, if you don't do it, you're in trouble. So everyone all he can see is the work that he has to do. Who is the one that gets him angry? If it's a diamond, or tzamech, or chai, or medaber, it makes no difference. The Rusus tells us that means Yankevini loy mes, is he was able to give us the koyach. Yankevini passed away. We said last week he gave that koyach over to Yosef. And once he was actually Yudas Yosef, then things started messing up. Bush said he was in Bismedish, he was holding a siddur. In the siddur there was a torn page, and the torn page flew away to the other side of the shul, and he put it down. He was very nervous, but suddenly he started thinking into this. He gave his boldness, and he saw, actually nobody hurt me, nobody did me anything wrong, so why am I getting so nervous? Because the page flew away, as if someone on purpose wanted to get me in cars. So I saw the age of the cars has nothing to do with nobody, it has to do with my own nefesh that I have now, a work from Kodesh Baruch Hu, as we say in Mitzrayim, Dafke from Mitzrayim, Nikach, Dafke from here, Ukach, our whole avodah. The avodah comes Dafke from Mitzrayim. There was a man that Elter Ucher got married, and it took a long time till he found the shidduch, and not more, not less, he knew exactly who was the one that is staring him from the shidduch. And it came the day that he has to get married, and Rusha came to the chasana, and Chusna asked Rusha, who should be my Mishara Kiddush? Rusha looked around and told him, you know what, this person, the one that's staring the shidduch all the time, he's good to be Mishara Kiddush. And Rusha wants you should take it, just like the page of the siddur, and that's your avodah. Otherwise, you want to build up a house tomorrow, your wife will also get you nervous, your children will get you nervous, your parents will get you nervous. You should know it's not them, it's yours. Personal avodah that the Baruch is giving you, and you have it on. That's what the Baruch we find this week, because Baruch told Moshe Rabbeinu to go take out the Yidden from Mitzrayim. How did he do it? He showed them the snare, the snares, thorns are burning. Hashem Kisor Lira says the this week. He saw why the thorns in the Abunishman. That's the Abunishman has to be without thorns, without koitzim. Because Baruch told him, I'm sorry. I only created the world because of these thorns that you are. As the period says, Moshe Rabbeinu was zelo mazeh from Bilam. He was the only one to take us out of Mitzrayim. He's the only one that gives us the koach of das in the worst matzah that you are, to know you're there for a shlichus. So maybe when the Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted to take us out of Mitzrayim, Mishiyesh b'Yer Shemayim, Dvor Nishmun, Kodesh Baruch Hu took Moshe Rabbeinu Davke, Dvor Nishmun. Sometimes you say miss it to a person, but you get him nervous. Sometimes you say, my father used to say, when I say something to somebody, I'm talking to myself. I'm just speaking a little louder. So if you think that I'm talking to you, then it's okay. But if it's not you, it's also okay. But Meilich used to go home from davening. He used to tell stories, but everybody heard the story. We're sure we're talking to you. Same thing with the Busha. It gives calmness to people because everyone feels in his way that it's talking to him, because we're talking about our energy, we're talking about our helplessness, our powerlessness. It's a mele dvor of nishmun. Nishmun is not only to listen. Nishmun is vayshama. Shama, as we said before, we get connected. Once we're connected, it's automatically, the work is not shas masaj. When everyone goes away, you should do homework. Homework means you should start working with these words. Now when we're talking, you should find one nikida where it talks to him and start working with that, like in the meal. So once you go into the meal, you're left the ani, as the Rusha said from the Siddur. It's not the Siddur, it's the ani. And when I keep quiet, then it's lechu, and it's not the ani, it's the lechu, the eish or the kas, which Baruch wants me to give it back to him and ask him. It's gudel, so Baruch he wants me to reveal. So I'm going to give calmness, so my whole shul becomes calmness. Or I can turn over the whole shul. Well, how come I didn't have an aliyah, and how come this torn sedir, and how come it's so dirty, and etc. Once a person, whoever he is, he used here Shemaim, Chaim, was looking for a shaychet. And he found a shaychet, and he says, afraid, how come I be a shaychet? For Chufetz Chaim, and such a plain person. So Chufetz Chaim says, what do you want me to take for a shaychet? The person that's not afraid. One of the first things in the shkita is to be a Shemaim. That's the whole reason why Moshe Rabbeinu this week was how much Baruch told them to go and take out cloudless. So from one side, Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Hen lo ya'aminu li." It's not enough that they should believe. There is believing and is believing. Just talking about a minute, that's not enough. A minute also has to be amshuch. We have to feel that we're going after the Baruch blind, but it's not blind. It's actually seeing things that of Shgucha Prutis. We're seeing things of being connected. We see calmness, we see a ducha, and with the shpur that we have on others. So, Baruch was telling you go, the more he said he cannot go, that's the simon that you're for that. You bring your raya, Aaron a Kohen, but Achu was so believer. Aaron was older than Moshe Rabbeinu. And when you come to Aaron and tell him your younger brother is going to get money, it usually hurts you, but see Aaron, he's so happy about it. So, even though it hurts, after where it hurts, that's where the happiness comes. So when Moshe Rabbeinu went and said what the Moshe told him what to do, what happened right afterwards? Things went the opposite around. It just became worse and worse. So he came to the Moshe, and how come that now you see that I was right, I cannot do it, I messed it up. Instead of talking with Shemaim, I was talking from my ego. I was talking from them in the way that I disconnect them. So that's why Pari has his schatches, he was able to make new gezeres. So it's again me. Baruch answered him, no, says the pure. It's just the opposite. Since you have such a big koyach, you're able to fight. As the Baratanya says, when a person davens, and he feels he's not able to daven, and he thinks that's a simile he's not davening, it's just the opposite way around. It's a simile you are davening. Because if you wouldn't be davening, the Yetzer wouldn't be busy to stay you from davening. It's all staying you from davening the sinner. You are davening. So Eila Heir El Om Hazeh is a sinner Shakadosh Baruch Hu Mis'ava L'Tfilusay. Whoever feels a hardship, so this is Dafka a sinner that Kadosh Baruch Hu wants him to have the tefillas. Kadosh Baruch Hu should help. All the tefillas should be maskabel. You should be able to. The days of the Gila this week, we end up. Just like everyone can go out without Mitzrayim. How they go out of Mitzrayim, Dafke from this Koshi, Memeno Nikach Lavadis Hashem. Dafke from Mitzrayim, how hard this Mitzrayim is, everything went through the Aseres Atzurim Amuris. We have to get the Aseres Adibis. In the middle we have Eser Makas. What is Eser Makas? The hardships that we're going through. The biggest hardship that we had to go through before Makas B'chois, that we are the chosen ones, and it was Makas Choshech. When a person comes to Choshech, to Yumish Choshech, and he's ready to go alone, there are days where we're here, we had the insurance that went through the Yumish Choshech Beitzias Mitzrayim, we had the days of Ikras and Mashiach. We have to start, as Tzudik says, just like a mitzvah to believe in the Rebbeinu Shlem, believe that you are part of the Rebbeinu Shlem, Tzadika Anachnu V'Echetuni. Anachnu V'Seinu Chituni, all we have to change is our course of our V'Seinu or our V'Seinis. Shabbat Tzluch, next week we'll decide what time. Call to any questions.
I have a small question.
Yeah. Can make it small, can make it big, it's up to you. Yeah.
When I tried to, can I do Yiddish?
Ja, wenn wir do that, ja, the very thing we want to eat.
wenn ich probiere zu gehen auf der Avoide, als man ich was ich darf arbeiten, ist auf